Hello and welcome to BBC Newsline. There's been another shooting in West Belfast, the second within 24 hours. The ambulance service say they got a call at 8:45 that a young man had been shot in the legs in Forest Street near the Springfield Road. The Belfast Health Trust say the victim is in a stable condition in hospital. A Londonderry man accused of terrorist offences in Syria has been found not guilty of 3 charges of having explosives. However, a jury could not reach a verdict on charges that Eamon Bradley attended a terrorist training camp and received training in the use of weapons. Kevin Sharkey reports.
Eamon Bradley told the police that he got onto a bus in Derry 3 years ago, travelled to Dublin and then got a flight to Istanbul in Turkey. After that, he said he crossed the border into Syria to help rebel fighters in the war. His interviews with the police were read to the jury during the trial. This trial distilled down to a number of issues. Among them was Eamon Bradley recalling facts when he told detectives that he went to Syria to help rebels? Or was he a fantasist who might never have been in Syria at all? The prosecution said Eamon Bradley told the truth about the events in question and that there was no evidence that he was a fantasist or that he makes things up. But questions were raised about details of what he told the police. On the one hand, he said he went to Syria to join the Army of Islam, and he said he fought in 3 battles, 2 against government forces and 1 against IS. But on the other hand, he said he never fired a shot, never used a grenade and hid from the sun under trees during battles. The jury deliberated for over 5 hours. When they returned, they found Eamon Bradley not guilty on 3 charges of having explosives. They then resumed their deliberations and a short time later returned again to tell the judge that they couldn't reach a 10-to-1 majority verdict on the 3 other charges. As a result of the hung jury on the 3 charges of attending terrorist training in Syria, this case will now go back to the Public Prosecution Service. The PPS will then decide if there should be a retrial on these 3 charges. Kevin Sharkey, BBC Newsline at the Crown Court in Derry.
A judge has said it would be premature to hold the trial of a man who's on the run without him being present. Damien McLaughlin from Arboe in County Tyrone faces charges in connection with the murder of the prison officer David Black in 2012. He was due to go on trial next week, but hasn't been seen since November last year. Sinn Féin's leader at Stormont, Michelle O'Neill, has told an IRA commemoration that there's no hierarchy of victims. She was speaking at an event to mark the 4 men who were shot dead by the SAS in her home village of Cluno in 1992. Helen Jones reports from County Tyrone.
The 4 men attacked the police station in Coal Island, and this was their weapon of choice, bolted to the rear of a lorry. It was capable of bringing down a helicopter. They were ambushed by the SAS in the grounds of a church in nearby Cluno. It's believed that's where the IRA team was abandoning the lorry. The 4 men were shot dead here in the grounds of the church 25 years ago. Tonight, their families came for a commemoration service. Michelle O'Neill was the guest speaker. She was a teenager at the time of the attack. The commemoration was told she personally knew all 4 men who were killed.
I remember that night so clearly, and you'll all have your own memories and we'll all hold them with us for the rest of our lives. But I can certainly remember the pain and the hurt and the sorrow and the shock, most of all felt by the families but by the wider Republican community.
There's been criticism in some quarters for her involvement in this evening's event.
There are some who would say we have no right to remember or to honour them. We have absolutely every right. Everyone, it doesn't matter who you are, has the right to remember their dead in a respectful and dignified manner. There can be no hierarchy of victims. Republicans recognise that. But it's the refusal of many within political unionism and the British state to do likewise that goes to the heart of many of the problems that we're facing in the political process.
Whilst tonight was all about the past, Michelle O'Neill also spoke about Sinn Féin's concerns for the days ahead, particularly in relation to Brexit. Helen Jones, BBC Newsline, Cluno.
It's emerged that a small number of companies registered as dormant have been claiming tens of thousands of pounds from the Renewable Heat Incentive Scheme. The Nolan Show on BBC Radio Ulster said it had a full list of the beneficiaries of the RHI scheme, including those described as dormant. Companies which are dormant usually do not have significant accounting transactions. The DUP's Arlene Foster has come under more pressure over the renewable heat scheme in the first televised leaders' debate of the Assembly election campaign. All 5 main party leaders took part in the UTV debate, during which Mrs Foster also revealed her party's Brexit campaign was part funded by an organisation from England. Our political correspondent Enda McClafferty was watching.
Arlene Foster has been centre stage in the RHI storm for months, and tonight she was once again fielding fire from all sides.
Whilst the investigation is ongoing, we will not go into government with Arlene Foster. It can't be more clear.
And wouldn't it have been much better to have had the inquiry set up in December than have had to have waited to the very end of January to have had a public inquiry put into place?
And that tell the public about
the inquiry
this
is critically important. The inquiry is now in place. Look, Naomi, I said I was very open about saying that I would go to the PAC,
please.
Yes, even though there was no convention. I would go to any inquiry. I have nothing to hide.
As expected, the RHI crisis dominated the debate, and it wasn't just the DUP feeling the heat.
Sinn Féin opposed the public inquiry day after day after day after day until they finally realised they were in such a bad position that they had to support it. But thank God we do have a public inquiry.
Who brought forward the public inquiry?
Under immense pressure. You opposed it. You opposed it.
The opposition could stand in the corner, stamp their feet, shout from the sidelines, do all of that. Rhetoric, rhetoric, rhetoric. You couldn't do anything. Martin McGuinness dealt with it.
You opposed it. You opposed it. You opposed it. You opposed it.
Then the focus switched to Mike Nesbitt's plan to give the SDLP his number 2.
I think the Ulster Unionist Party has become like the Lothario of Northern Ireland politics. It's hopped in and out of bed with almost every other political party. But it's good that they're standing on their own 2 feet. It's good that Mike is arguing that people should vote on the basis of the substance of how we do government and not along the kind of tribal lines that previously have.
I have talked about transferring my personal vote to the SDLP. What I have said to my supporters is vote Ulster Unionist. And then for any candidate that you trust will do the right thing by your community, your constituency and your country. And I think that is the right thing to do, because RHI is not an orange or a green issue.
The debate then moved on to Brexit, as Arlene Foster came under pressure over a party donation.
I think Brexit is probably one of the issues that pushed Gerry Adams Sinn Féin out of the executive because they can't deal with these issues.
Arlene, did your party receive a payment to advertise pro-Brexit stance right across England?
Yeah, how much did you donate to the Leave campaign?
Well, look, here's the reality.
Can you tell us here and now who the donations are from?
Yes, I can. They're from an organisation in England that wants to see the union kept and to make sure that we can have a United Kingdom, because it was a national issue. And these people...
This was always going to be a bruising battle, but there is much now for voters and indeed the party leaders to chew over before they do it all again at the end of the month on the BBC. Enda McClafferty, BBC Newsline.
Well, with news of what's coming up on The View immediately after this programme, here's Mark Carruthers.
Well, Tara, Arlene Foster took the DUP to record levels of support last May, and now she's facing another election to a reduced Stormont amid accusations that she mishandled the RHI scheme. Tonight on The View, I'll be asking the DUP leader about the future of devolution, working with Michelle O'Neill, and this snap election, which she has described as the most important since 1998. That's The View immediately after this news here on BBC One.
Mark, thank you. Let's get the weather now with Cecilia.
Hello there. The rain should ease in many places as the night goes on. It'll still be quite damp and drizzly, and there'll be a lot of mist and low cloud over the hills, so quite foggy in some areas, but it is mild. To begin with tomorrow, it will be rather dull and drizzly, but it should improve as the morning goes on. So first thing, particularly disappointing, but give it a wee while and it should become a bit drier and brighter as the morning goes on. There'll be some showers later in the day. They're coming up from the south of Ireland, and some of those showers will move into South Wales, southwest England. Also some of that dull drizzly weather moving into western Scotland and northwest England. But elsewhere it's fairly dry, and where the sun comes out it should feel quite mild. And temperatures across Northern Ireland tomorrow will be a little bit up on today, so 11, possibly even 12 degrees. But by the end of the day there'll be a few showers, and it will be quite wet on Friday night and first thing on Saturday. But Saturday will be an improving day, drying up and brightening up, much as Sunday staying dry too, and it looks like a mild weekend.
That's something to look forward to. That's it for now. We're back at 6:25 in the morning during breakfast here on BBC One. You can keep up to date with news online. Bye-bye.